Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is an award-winning journalist and a former news anchor for the Emmy award-winning news station KTLA in Los Angeles. And she's here today to talk about her new job as the new anchor for the brand new CNN morning show, Noonday. Help me welcome Miss MICHAELA Pereira to the show. How you doing, MICHAELA?
I'm doing fantastically. How are you, Lady Charmaine?
If I can just get my throat clear this morning, I'll be doing so much better. But
I've been talking for the last 3 hours, so I'm right with you.
I know, because I was watching you this morning.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say first, congratulations on your brand new job there at CNN. You're doing a great job, look beautiful on television, so I want to make sure I got that out.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Now, MICHAELA, you have gone from being a local news anchor for the #1 morning show to now being seen in over 200 countries and 271 million households on CNN on Noonday. How does that make you feel?
Sure, you can overwhelm me. Well, I actually have to take you back a little further than that. I started as a feature reporter at a tiny TV station in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
Wow.
I started there. I went from there to San Francisco to a startup cable network called Tech TV. I was there for 6 years, and then I went to KTLA. So it's been a very interesting progression for my career, very exciting. It seems as though I can never anticipate where it's going to go next. It's been very enjoyable for me because I'm a person of faith, and I've just sort of walked in faith, knowing that the next step would come, and it has worked out that way. So it's been kind of fun for me to see where the doors would open. I had no idea I'd end up on the East Coast in New York City, but boy, what a city this is.
Good. I'm so glad you mentioned walking in faith, because when you mention steps, most people don't understand when you walk in faith and you're faithful over a few things. The Bible says God will make you ruler over many. So now look where you are. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I'll also tell you, it's the support of people. You know how important a support network is. I've had a lot of people that believed in me, that gave me my first shot. I'll be honest, in many of the jobs I've had over time, I was probably not the most qualified person, but they saw something in me that they wanted to give a chance. I wasn't a geek when I went to Tech TV. It was a network all about technology, but I was a TV person, so I helped the geeks learn TV, and they taught me a little bit about technology, so it was a great trade-off. But I had supportive people along the way who said, you know, I believe in you, we want to support you, and I believe in doing the same thing for other people as well.
Did you ever have a desire to work in cable news, especially like a CNN? Was that ever a part of your vision to work there?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think when you're in our business, you always are looking at the possibilities. I'll tell you, a few years ago, I was trying to figure out what the next step was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be my own show, if I need to come up with my own project, if I would move to a different station. You keep all options open to you. And in the darkest hours, I thought, is this it? Am I done? Is my career over? Is it time for me to go do something completely different? And I asked those questions in those moments of reflection. I had no idea that CNN would ask me to be part of their new morning show. I'll tell you that. It came as a wonderful surprise. And it also seems right on time. I will tell you, everything seems to have lined up to this moment.
So how did they end up finding you? Did they see one of your award-winning segments that you did for KTLA and then say, we have to have her?
Well, I think they have spies around the country. You know, oftentimes networks and cable channels and TV stations are always on the lookout for new talent, and they keep an eye and ear to the ground, if you will, and see who is out there and what they're doing, and especially being in Los Angeles, the #2 market in the country, and especially the fact that we're the #1 show. KTLA was the #1 show in the market. They often look at talent at those stations that are doing really well and look for people that they can work with and groom and maybe bring into their own ranks. And I think that's what's happened. I've had conversations with CNN for a couple of years now, but it wasn't until now, when everything sort of lined up with Jeff Zucker coming on board, a new direction for the network, and then launching this new show, that it seemed like the right fit.
Now, what separates Noonday, your morning show, from all the other major cable network morning shows that are on right now?
Well, to be sure, there's a lot of players in the game, and we want to add our voice to it. We know that for CNN, a 24-hour news network, it's important to have a really good, solid beginning point to the day to sort of launch people. And you and I both know that in the morning, we're kind of vulnerable. Mm-hmm. We're eager for information. We want to see what happened, over the night, if things happened after we went to bed. And we want a good start to our day. We want to feel informed. We want to feel aware. and we want to feel motivated. And we're doing that, we hope. We hope that we're going to provide people with all the resources and the high story count that they would expect from CNN, but we also want to bring them some great touching things. Like, for example, you brought Lisa on our show today. We do a segment called The Good Stuff, which I think we all love very much, because so oftentimes the news is unfortunately dominated by headlines that are heartrending and upsetting. And we want to make sure that we balance that out with a little bit of good stuff now and then to remind us that there is still a great deal of good in the world.
Now, speaking of an amazing story, what do you think about Joe Torre's daughter catching that falling baby?
How about that? Ooh, you have to believe a couple of things that little child was being watched out for, because it sounds as though, and I'm not judging, it sounds as though, because the parents have now been arrested for child endangerment, it sounds as though somebody wasn't looking out for that child. He had to work to get to where he even was on the fire escape, and then when he fell, there was an awning that caught him, and then he bounced almost like a trampoline off the awning right into, she saw it happen, and it fell right into her arms. She positioned herself under the awning to catch him. I am so grateful to that woman who caught that little boy and given him another chance at life.
I mean, that's what you call being in the right place at the right time and doing the right things.
And I just love that it's Joe Torre's daughter, too, because I think that's the coolest thing.
That was such an amazing story. I apologize. So I just want to talk a little bit more about you and the show, and what else can people expect from the New Day show on CNN? So if they say, okay, I'm going to start watching tomorrow, what other things can they expect?
The show is led by three pretty big personalities and pretty distinct personalities. The three of us come from different parts of the country, and of course I originally hail from Canada, so we've had different experiences in life. We have different tastes and flavors and interests, and I think all of that lends to the overall tone of the show. We've had a great deal of time with one another before we even launched the show. We're showing some of the features that we shot months ago, actually. This week, the getting to know you stories, to get to know the people behind, the salon quality hair and makeup. You get to see a little bit about what makes us tick, the things that we love, the things that matter to us, and share a little insight into who we are. And I think that also changes the chemistry of the show and the tone of the show. Plus, we have these great people that have been handpicked behind the scenes. Our producers and our writers and our directors are some of the best in town as far as I'm concerned.
I know that's right. That is awesome. I want to just thank you so much for coming on the show. And I want to remind the audience to make sure that you tune in Monday through Friday to CNN, to the brand New Day show with Miss MICHAELA Pereira. You can watch it 6 a.m. Eastern. If you're on the West Coast, it's 3 a.m. Pacific.
Ooh, that's early.
Yes, it is, but I'm an early bird. That's why I was able to watch you.
Lady Charmaine, I appreciate getting to spend some time with you today.
You are so welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.